Today, we have a couple of heavy hitters with us. That's right. We have Reverend Conrad Tillard, as well as Councilman Imam Alfred Mohammed, here to speak directly with the Stevenson brothers in Ecuador. The discussion today will be on how best to proceed and how to help. Follow along.
You're watching dcbornrob, erasing borders.
Because of the short attention span on YouTube, I have broken this video up into two. This is part one of our discussion. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever it is you're located, and thanks for watching. My name is Rob Christian, also known as DC Born Rob, DC Rob, I answer to them all. Thank you guys for watching. In this video, we're going to revisit the situation of the brothers in Ecuador that have been held against their will, held of what we believe to be not just. They have committed no crime, but yet they are in prison for 34 years and 8 months. So we want to talk to the brothers. We want to get their impact, but we also have brought on a couple other heavy hitters to visit with us today. And that is Reverend Conrad Tillard and the Imam, Councilman Alfred Mohammed from New Jersey and New York. So, and gentlemen, I appreciate you jumping in. The Imam will be back in a second, but brothers, if you want to jump in the beginning and just tell a story, how you ended up going there and what the facility was like, how you ended up getting to Ecuador.
Good morning, everyone. When I was in college at Washington and Jefferson College in Western Pennsylvania, my sophomore year, I had the opportunity to go do a study abroad program through ecotourism in the north of Quito, and I came to Ecuador. I spent approximately 2 months in Ecuador, partaking in ecotourism, also traveling around the country a little bit, and I fell in love. It was a beautiful country. They use U.S. currency. I love the Spanish language. I wanted to learn more. I wanted to be involved. When I went back to the U.S., I told my parents, I told my brother, I told my whole family, I said, Ecuador is where I want to be. That's my future. I see life there. My father said, I don't know. I said, you have to come and see. You have to come and see. So the next year he came down with me. I took him to Cuenca, to Vilcabamba. He saw the expat community. He said, son, I see what you like about this country. It's a beautiful place. From there, we met with a few expat real estate agents, and they were taking us around the Vilcabamba area, the Cuenca area. It was all small properties. I said, no, I want to do major farming. I want to bring volunteers to this country so they can learn about ecotourism, living naturally. So he said, I think I have a spot for you. He took me out to the jungle. It was about a 9-hour drive from Cuenca. He introduced us to a Canadian gentleman. He said, check the place out. It was a 125-acre farm. It had fruit trees already planted on it. It had 4 homes that were under development. It was beautiful. My father and I walked around the property. He said, son, I love it. If this is what you want to do once you graduate, I'm all on board with you. Let me know what you need. So once we got back to the States, we started dealing with the Canadian gentleman and his wife, negotiating the purchase of the property. And from America, we were able to handle the financial end of the purchase. And prior to my graduation, we flew down here while I was on break. And we handled all the documentation. I got the deed for the property. Everything was put into my name. My dad said, you did what you said you were going to do. You graduated college. You handled your end of the bargain. I'm going to help you get your start in life. So once I graduated college in 2014 at 21 years old, 2 weeks after graduation, my dad and I hopped on the airplane and we were in Ecuador. We started life here, started fixing the homes that were on the property. They obviously weren't up to date. We had to change roofs. We started cleaning up the property. We developed a road onto the property that was a mile long. Just different things to make it a better place to receive tourists, to have people come and visit, to enjoy themselves. Throughout the process, my dad had to go back to the States, obviously. He has his own businesses that he has to take care of. So I continued down here. I hired a few natives that lived in the area, began to plant pineapple. I got cows, got pigs, had tilapia, ducks, chickens, different projects. I ended up opening a small international nightclub that I catered to the community 1 day a week. And then also when foreigners would come from Australia, England, the US to visit, I would also cater to them. and we do different volunteer projects. I also got involved in the community. I was working at a local gym and I got into bodybuilding. I actually represented Pelora 2 times at national bodybuilding competitions, which I won. Then in 2016, I nominated a young lady for a pageant for Carnival through the government. And she was also involved in the pageant. And that was sponsored through the club that I owned at the time, Discoteca La Selva. From there, my parents, my brother, my cousins, they would come down every 3-4 months, stay for a month, visit me, help me. I would travel around with them. If I had a project ongoing, they would assist in the project. I started raising chickens. The latest project I had at the time was I got a contract with a Tabasco company in the United States, and I was just starting to plant Tabasco peppers to export. And my brother had come down with my parents, and they were all helping me. We're just germinating all the seeds. We had a few greenhouses. We were getting the Tabasco plants ready. My parents ended up leaving because they had to go back to the States to get back to work. My brother stayed down for a little bit longer. We continued the Tabasco project. And then we had a chicken project going on with my girlfriend at the time. And then the situation occurred.
And we all know what that situation is. Reverend Conrad?
Well, I was just going to ask the other brother how did his experience get him to Ecuador?
Pardon me?
How did the other brother get there? Is this your brother? Is this what you were referring to?
How did Ronell get there?
Yeah. Oh, I came down because this is my younger brother.
I see. So this is your brother. Okay, got
Yeah.
it.
So once he came down here in 2014, I came down in like September.
Okay.
September 2014. Oh man, it was painful at first. The mosquitoes, the nature was too strong. You're talking about tarantulas,
Right.
just walking all over the place, man. Almost lost my mind. But like once we started to chop down a lot of the bushes and clear everything and make it Americanized, it was much better. The mosquitoes and the tarantulas stayed up in the trees and wasn't coming to the house. So, that first year, snakes, almost had a heart attack. I told my brother and my father, said, why in the world would y'all come out here?
Wow, this is an amazing story. This testimony is amazing. And Imam, Councilman Alfred Mohammed brought this to my attention. And, you know, I can't imagine the American public hearing about this story and not taking a great interest. Can I ask you a question? Has your alumni association and your university been made aware of what's going on? If so, what has been their response?
It's only been since the dcbornrob interview that my university, my high school, people have been notified of our situation. Prior to that, we didn't have much access to a cell phone. And we were also made to believe it was in our interest to not make as much noise during the trial process for our safety and to not cause any confusion with the judges. Once the trial process ended and we saw that being quiet was not in our favor, and now that we've had the opportunity to have cell phones for a long period of time due to the change in the dynamic of the prison system, my brother reached out to dcbornrob. We got on the interview, and from then, everybody's been reaching out, wanting to know how they can help, what they can do.
Oh, good,
so it's been the past month where everyone has been brought up to date on what is going on in our situation.
Who is your congressman, congressperson?
David Trone. He's a congressman from Montgomery County, Maryland.
Okay. So that's your congressperson. Okay. Yeah, I'm grateful, number one, to dcbornrob for bringing this to the fore. And of course, Alfred Mohammed is a longtime friend of mine, and he's been in the struggle for 50 years. And, you know, his sense of justice it reflects my own. And, you know, this obviously is a political case. I mean, the irony of it is so many of our Black victims in America and the United and abroad are advised not to have advocates in these cases early on, but these are essentially political cases. And I know I'm committed to helping to share this information with as many people as possible. Congressman Greg Meeks in Queens is the chair of the Foreign Relations Committee. This is something he's going to find out about right away. And as Councilman Mohammed, you have some information you want to share.
Yes, I have reached out to Senator Menendez's office, and they are very interested. As you probably know, should know, that Senator Menendez, the United States Senator from New Jersey, is the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. And I agree with Reverend Conrad. As a person who's been in the struggle, well, over 50 years, all of these cases are political. And this becomes not only a political case, this becomes an international human rights case.
Absolutely.
We're going to be working on strategies first to provide your safety, and strategies that I'm praying and I visualize you all coming home in the next 6 months. I'm not going to make false promises, but between Reverend Conrad and myself, and I had forgotten that Senator, Congressman Meeks is the chairman of the committee. We're also going to be in touch with the Congressional Black Caucus and in touch with the National Negro Press Association. Once this case reaches those people and make this a human rights issue, it is a human rights issue. It's also an international judicial matter. I mean, this is a very serious matter. And we're going to bring all, that is, I said, Conrad and my Reverend and myself, we're going to bring all our resources to bear. I was very interested in talking to Senator Menendez off there, very interested. So once I get the release form from your family, from you all directly, we will proceed and to work first on public. This is public pressure, and only these cases respond to public pressure. I mean, unfortunately, the legal system internationally is more about public opinion. And of course, when you have a judicial system where judges basically are under political pressure and also under the pressure of the indigenous, it has to be raised above that level. And why I want to be very careful. This is also an economic issue with people visiting country tourism. I mean, they are going to respond. We're going to, between
absolutely
Conrad and I, we're going to find the best strategic way that we don't jeopardize you. And at the same time, I know that the political system there in Ecuador influences the judiciary. So it's all wrapped up in a synthetic package, and we're going to work very hard. You all are very articulate young men. I have 4 sons, and they range probably from your age all the way down, 40. I don't know how old you are, but 49. But this is what we've been raising my 49 to 20 as a father. Like I said, I first was watched dcbornrob. I even laugh and talk about him all that. That's a dcbornrob. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. This is dcbornrob, and I just like that. And I said, oh man, this brother's something. So I started watching him, and I just got addicted. Then one I'm enjoying a leisure meal, Father's Day, a meal alone, and I watched you all's story. I said, man, my head started turning right away. I won't move it. So I text dcbornrob and said, call me. And sometimes you write to bloggers, you never heard from them. And I didn't realize that he had a researcher who found me, my number, and he called me, and the rest is history. But we're going to work hard. I think it would be good if you were to tell Reverend Conrad, you all are from Washington, D.C. The good thing is Reverend Conrad is from Washington, D.C. I am a visitor to Washington, D.C., Lynchburg, Virginia, but my family is a lot in Washington, D.C. So we have a direct connection. So I would love for you all to tell Reverend Conrad, where are you from in DC? What school you went to? That would just be good background information and grist and energy for him as a father and a leader to go to just move on this. We're going to move on it anyway. I mean, you all, like I say, you are a compelling case. I didn't have any questions for you because after I watch you, I'm fortunate or unfortunate, I've worked in correctional institute, all kind of places. I'm a good reader, people. In 30 seconds, I could be walking down 16 feet off, but I know who the good guys and the bad guys, you know. So I'm personally, I know you all are good, sincere people, and I'm glad that, you know, for your mental health, your brother is there. I know your brother didn't intend to come and fight those mosquitoes.
Right.
He didn't intend to go and be in that area, but he supported his brother, and you all are just a remarkable story. I mean, it's made for TV, but it's not a made for TV story. It really is a nightmare that no human being should have to go through, especially good human beings.
Absolutely.
So if you all, I mean, I'm not.
Well, definitely. Well, we're two boys from a father, Robert Stevenson. He has 7 brothers. They used to have a store on George Avenue in Iowa, right across from Roosevelt, A&B Deli. We're what I consider the first generation Americans, because our family originated from Guyana in South America. So when they came here, they started up originally with that just one store on the corner, and then after that they ended up owning 2, then ended up owning 3, and then after that, you know, they finished school and went off to the military and those things. My father, he moved out to Montgomery County, so that's where my brother was made at. He was made out of Montgomery County, and we went to school out there. I went to Damascus High School. He went to Clarksburg.
Yeah, I you know, when Alfred shared this information, I was particularly interested. You were from the DMV. I grew up around that area, so I'm very familiar with that. I'm a graduate of Cardozo, so Roosevelt was our rival, and I spent a lot of time up there on 9th and Upshur Street. So I know the area, and just getting to know you young men. First of all, I just want you to know that immediately I'm praying for you. I'm grateful that God has you two together, that you've not been separate. And if either one of you were going through this alone, it would be much more arduous. And as bad as it is for both of you to be there, I'm just grateful. You look remarkably well preserved. You look like you're in your right state of mind. You look relatively calm and poised. And I think that's what's going to take to fight this battle. It could be a very short battle, but it could take a number of years. You know, just recently in America, I'm sure maybe you have not been able to see, but there's been a movie recently about the Central Park 5 case. And, you know, we knew those young people, we believed those young people, and, you know, eventually they were vindicated. And so in matters like this, people believing in you, people advocating for you, and the Most High God ultimately can turn this situation around. So I just pray that you brothers will keep the faith, that you will protect each other, watch out for each other, and guard your mental health, because those of us on the outside will help to bring this case to the fore. You know, one of the things that I'm reminded of in this situation is that as we become increasingly sophisticated as African Americans, I listened to the young man say when he graduated from college, he had the vision to want to go down there. And this is incredible, because of people in our generation certainly in Councilman Mohammed's generation, would never have even thought about traveling around the world and doing what you did. And it's extraordinary. But as we become more sophisticated and we travel around the world, we almost need a civil rights movement, a global, an international civil rights movement, because African Americans are becoming world travelers. We're going to places in Africa, we're going to places in Central and South America. And we need to make sure that these countries understand that that what you do to African Americans, you will not be able to do it in the dark. The fact of the matter is, unfortunately, the #1 export in America is culture. And unfortunately, this is why we've led struggles against entertainment companies and rappers and people who promote an image around the country of us as drug dealers, as killers, as though Black life is cheap, that it doesn't matter. Because when we find ourselves globally in these other settings, this stereotypical persona has already arrived there. And so people assume things about us. People do not know the gradation and the complexity of Black life. When they see young Black men, that's what they see, what they're seeing in global images that have been projected about the worst of our people. And so you're fighting against a lot of things. You know, you're fighting against all of this negative stereotypical image. But what you've laid out is so compelling. It seems to be so one-sided that the Congressional Black Caucus and the National Association of Black journalists and publishers need to know and be brought into this case, because as Councilman Mohammed said, this is an international human rights case. And we are committed. I know I'm just grateful that Mohammed has continued to raise this to me, because I'm floored, I'm stunned, and I pledge to do everything I can to bring this case to light. So just try to hold on, brothers, try to keep the faith.
Thank you.
And just continue to know that, as Dr. King famously said, the moral arc of the universe is long, but it bends toward right. I would agree that this is a movie, but I would only say it's only a movie after you all get out of prison. Right now, it's a nightmare that you are living. And I would just lastly say that the Central Park Five, Yusuf Salam, who I'm very close with, known him since he was 15 or 16 years old. You know, these men won huge settlements against the United States. He's now a husband, father of 10 children, living in Atlanta. Life is easy for him now. He's got his doctorate, speaks all over the country. So, you know, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and you just try to hold on and know that this nightmare will come to an end.
Part 2 is coming soon. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching.
We have a YouTube channel. Like it. Please comment and share if you like the video. Please subscribe and kick the bell.